Budapest is 4 days away. The Champions League trophy is sitting in a stadium waiting for one of two clubs to claim it. Paris Saint Germain on one side, Arsenal Football Club on the other, 30th of May 2026. 1800 hours Central European summertime. That is the moment everything has been building toward. Arsenal have already won the Premier League. The trophy has already been lifted. Mikel Arteta is already a champion manager. And yet inside that dressing room right now, nobody is celebrating. Nobody is satisfied because the players know, the staff know, even the ownership knows. The biggest night is still ahead. Declan Rice is speaking like a man who has unfinished business. Zubimendi is telling the world he is ready. Keane is warning Paris Saint Germain to be afraid. And William Saliba is about to face his childhood friend Kylian Mbappe on the grandest stage in club football. This is not a warm-up. This is not a bonus. This is everything. Stay with me, because today we are breaking down every single detail of Arsenal's final week. Nothing gets left out. The official announcement. The UEFA Champions League official account posted a message that simply read Champions League final week alongside a promotional image. That image showed the famous Champions League trophy standing at the centre, with the Paris Saint Germain badge on the left and the Arsenal badge on the right. Below the image, the date and time were confirmed. 30th of May 2026. 1800 hours Central European summertime. Location Budapest. The hashtag used was UCL final. Now let me give you my analysis of what that image represents beyond just the graphic itself. This is not just a football match. This is the completion of a journey that Mikel Arteta began when he walked into Arsenal as a head coach years ago. The fact that UEFA is now producing promotional material with Arsenal's badge next to the Champions League trophy is something that would have seemed almost fictional just 3 seasons ago. The club that spent years finishing 5th, 6th, even outside the top 6, is now 1 game away from being crowned the best club in Europe. That image alone is a statement. It is a confirmation. Arsenal belong here. Keane sends a warning to Paris Saint Germain. Keane, speaking publicly after Arsenal secured the Premier League title, delivered a very clear message. He said that Paris Saint Germain should be worried about Arsenal Football Club. Keane's reasoning was direct. He believes the momentum and confidence now flowing through the entire club has made Arsenal the favourites for the Champions League final. His exact words were, the courage, confidence and belief awakened by winning the league might be unstoppable. He did not stop there. Keane also pointed to the mentality now running through the club from the players all the way to Mikel Arteta and the entire coaching staff. He added, look at how the boys are talking, the manager and everyone at the club. Now here is my analysis of what Keane is telling us. Keane is not a man who gives compliments easily. This is someone who spent his entire career demanding the absolute highest standards. When Keane says a team might be unstoppable, that is not casual praise. That is a serious assessment. What Keane is identifying is something very real in football. When a team wins a title, especially one they have been chasing for years, something shifts psychologically. The fear is gone. The doubt is gone. They have already proved they are the best team in England. And now they carry that proof into Budapest. Paris Saint Germain will face an Arsenal team with nothing to lose and everything to gain. That is the most dangerous opponent you can face in a final. Keane's point about the coaching staff is also important. He is not just praising the players, he is praising the structure, the environment, the belief that Arteta has created inside that club. That matters enormously in a final. Composure, preparation and mental strength are often what separates the winner from the runner-up at this level. Arsenal appear to have all 3. Mikel Merino speaks on his injury return. Mikel Merino spoke about returning from what had clearly been a very difficult and uncertain period with injury. His words were deeply personal. He said, I cannot ask for any more. After so long with some bad times in between, not knowing if I was going to be able to come back or how long the injury was going to be, if I was going to miss the end of the season. He continued, being part of this, it is amazing to be back on the grass, to be with my teammates, all of them that have supported me big time. So I am very grateful for them, for my family, for all the fans that have been supporting me throughout this period. It is massive. My analysis of Merino's situation is this. These words are not just emotional, they are tactically significant. Merino's return from injury gives Arteta an additional option in midfield heading into the Champions League final. A player who has come back from a long layoff, who is grateful to be involved, who has the support of his teammates and a personal hunger to prove himself, that is a player who will give absolutely everything if called upon. What is also important is what Merino said about the team itself. He described them as a group of friends, a family, and later in the day he elaborated on that further, which I will come to shortly. But even in this personal quote about his injury, you can sense the culture at this club. These players genuinely care about each other, and in a Champions League final, that connection matters. Declan Rice on reaching the Champions League final. Declan Rice gave one of the most emotionally honest interviews of the entire week. Speaking about what it felt like to qualify for the final, he said, "As a kid, you grow up watching Champions League nights, group stages, knockout rounds, the final. Then realizing that you are in that moment of being close to reaching a final, you look up at the clock, 5 minutes to go, 2 minutes to go, then you finally hear that whistle. Just everything pours out of you, really. Just relief, pure happiness, pure emotion. It was a feeling that will stick with me forever." My analysis here is straightforward but powerful. Declan Rice is 27 years old. He has won the Premier League. He is about to play in a Champions League final. And what his words reveal is that despite all of this success, he still connects to that kid who watched these games on television. That emotional connection to the competition is not a weakness. It is fuel. Players who genuinely love football and feel everything it represents are often the ones who produce their greatest performances on the biggest stages. Rice also spoke separately about being a big game player, and I want to address that quote now. He said, "I would like to say I am a big game player." When you play in the biggest competitions, you need your players to step up at every single point, and not only just me. I think our team have done that over the last few years in big games. We have stepped up, especially in the Champions League. There are a few of us that have got that in us, and we are going to need that going into the final as well. He also added, in football, you cannot determine before the game whether you are going to play well or not. It is the unknown. But what you can control is how you start the game off, how much confidence you can build within yourself. And whether that is with your first touch, a tackle, a header, always do the first thing right and you build from there. This is the statement of a leader. Rice is not guaranteeing anything. He is not making reckless predictions. He is telling you exactly how a big game player prepares mentally. Control what you can control. Execute the basics. Build your confidence from your first action. This is the mindset Arteta will want every single player carrying into Budapest. And Rice had one final quote that I want to include here because it perfectly captures the mood. He said, "To get to the Champions League final is one thing, what an achievement. But to win it, I do not know the words yet, to be honest with you, because it has not happened. I do not want to speak ahead of myself, but it would be incredible." That is not a player being cautious. That is a player being honest. He knows what winning it would mean. He just refuses to put it into words yet. Because footballers are superstitious. And because he understands that the work is not done, that hunger, that refusal to celebrate early, that is exactly the kind of mentality you need in a final. If you are getting value from this analysis, if you want to stay ahead of every Arsenal story as it develops this week, then please hit that subscribe button right now. Click the notification bell so you never miss an update. We are going deep on every aspect of Arsenal's Champions League final preparation, and you do not want to miss a single video. Thierry Henry praises Kai Havertz. Thierry Henry gave a detailed assessment of Kai Havertz that deserves serious attention. Henry said, "We all know what Kai Havertz can do. We saw it already at Chelsea. He knows when to score. He comes up with big goals." The manager said it himself. Mikel Arteta said when he is not there, they miss him. Henry continued, "The way he can lead the attack to the midfield, the way he presses, he is always there and about, he understands the game, he plays with his brain, we all know that." Henry also addressed the period when Havertz was unavailable due to injury. He said Arsenal had Victor Gyökeres with them and added, "We had other players that could play into the team, and that is why I think it was important for Arsenal to have almost 2 up to 3 players sometimes in every position, but we all know what Kai Havertz can do, and then you have that kind of healthy competition that you need in the squad." On Havertz specifically, Henry concluded, "But since we are talking about Kai Havertz, we all know his football IQ allows him to play in multiple positions and help his team play better. Hopefully, in the near future, for his career, he can stay injury-free, because we all know what he can do when he is on the field." My analysis of Henry's words: Thierry Henry is the greatest Arsenal striker of all time. When he speaks about attacking players, you listen carefully. What Henry is telling us is that Havertz is not just a goal scorer. He is a system player. He connects the attack to the midfield. He presses intelligently. He makes the team function better simply by being on the pitch. That is a rare quality. Henry's comment about depth is also tactically important. The fact that Arsenal could lose Havertz to injury and still compete at the highest level says everything about how Arteta has built this squad. Victor Gyökeres stepped in. Other players stepped up. The team did not collapse. That resilience, that depth, that is what champions are built on. Going into the final, the question of whether Havertz is available and in what condition will be one of the key tactical questions Arteta faces. Henry's praise makes it clear that Havertz at his best would be a major asset against Paris Saint Germain. Martin Zubimendi on whether he will start the final. Martin Zubimendi spoke openly about his situation. He said, "I always see myself playing, but what actually happens is another matter. Lately, I have not been getting much playing time, but I am ready to go out and play. My overall performance in the Premier League has been very good, and I am not going to dwell on these benchings. He continued, "It has been a very demanding long season, in which I have made efforts I have not made in my career, and that has surely taken its toll. But I think I am back to normal now." Now let me give you the full picture on the Zubimendi situation, because this is one of the most interesting tactical dilemmas Arteta faces heading into the final. Earlier in the season, Zubimendi was described by those around the club as one of the best summer signings. He started the season excellently. He helped unlock Declan Rice's best form. The partnership worked. But as the season progressed, something shifted. His form dropped. And Lewis-Skelly, the young talent from Arsenal's academy, came into the team and completely changed the dynamic. Lewis-Skelly's energy and intensity rejuvenated Arsenal's midfield. Now, William Saliba himself has publicly compared Zubimendi to Xavi Hernandez, the legendary Barcelona midfielder, by leaving the single comment Xavi on Zubimendi's Premier League title post on Instagram. Declan Rice and Jurrien Timber were also in the comments celebrating Zubimendi's contribution to the title win. That tells you that the squad respects Zubimendi enormously. His teammates see a player of the very highest quality. But Arteta now has to choose. Does he go with Zubimendi's experience and technical excellence for the biggest game of the season? Or does he trust Lewis-Skelly, who has earned his place through recent performances and whose energy has been a driving force in Arsenal's run to the final? Zubimendi's own words suggest he is ready. He is not bitter. He is not making excuses. He is simply saying the season was physically demanding, it took a toll, but he is back. That is a professional response. And it puts the decision firmly and entirely in Arteta's hands. Josh Kroenke speaks on summer transfer plans. Arsenal co-owner Josh Kroenke spoke publicly about the club's summer transfer plans. He said, "We have already had a few conversations about different areas that we think we can improve, both on and off the pitch. We are looking forward to getting that going this summer." He added, "The business never stops, and so right now there are other teams that are already trying to strengthen to come at us for next season, so we need to be aware of that." He also made a light-hearted comment about the upcoming World Cup. He said, "It is going to be an interesting one because of the World Cup, but fortunately everybody is coming to the United States, so I do not have to travel for once." My analysis of Kroenke's statement. This is a significant statement from the ownership level of the club. Josh Kroenke is not speaking in vague platitudes. He is confirming that conversations are already happening. Areas for improvement have already been identified, and the urgency is clear. He acknowledged explicitly that rival clubs are already working to close the gap on Arsenal. This is exactly the message Arsenal supporters needed to hear from the boardroom. Winning the Premier League is not a reason to slow down. It is a reason to accelerate. The best clubs in the world do not rest on their achievements. They reinvest. They rebuild. They stay ahead of the competition. The World Cup comment is also worth noting from a football management perspective. The 2026 World Cup is taking place in the United States. That means many of Arsenal's international players will be involved in the tournament. Transfer business will need to be conducted with that calendar in mind. Kroenke appears aware of this challenge and is approaching it with a practical mindset. Declan Rice on Arteta's influence. Declan Rice gave a fascinating insight into how Mikel Arteta has developed him as a player. He said, "He has just turned me into a more all-round midfielder in terms of someone who can do a little bit of everything." I heard Steven Gerrard talk about when he played, he saw himself as a midfielder that could do a little bit of everything. I kind of say the same. I can do a little bit of attack, a little bit of defending. Rice continued, "If I need to stay and help the defence, I can. If I need to push forward and help the attack, I can. I want to be busy, but show my character, my strengths, and I think Arteta has really helped me do that over the last few years." The comparison Rice draws to Steven Gerrard is notable. Gerrard is widely considered one of the greatest English midfielders in history. A box-to-box player who could do everything. Rice is saying, under Arteta, that is what I have become. And looking at Rice's performances this season, it is very difficult to argue against that assessment. Arteta's coaching is producing a player who reads the game at an elite level, who contributes in all phases, and who leads by example. That kind of midfielder is invaluable in a Champions League final where margins are tiny and every detail matters. Carlos Cuesta on leaving Arsenal. Former Arsenal coach Carlos Cuesta spoke emotionally about how difficult it was to leave the club. He said a lot for many reasons, especially the quality of the people and the beauty of the project. "I am convinced that the best is yet to come, especially because of the people and especially Mikel Arteta." My analysis here is brief but important. Cuesta is no longer at the club. That is the confirmed reality. But his words carry weight because they come from someone who was on the inside of the operation. When a departing coach says the best is yet to come and singles out the manager as the reason, that is a powerful endorsement. It tells you something about the culture, the vision, and the belief that exists within Arsenal's coaching environment. Even those who have moved on still believe in what Arteta is building. Mikel Merino on Team Unity. Mikel Merino spoke at length about what makes this Arsenal team different. His words were powerful. He said, from everyone watching us on television, you might see just another team. But when you see us up close, you see how this team behaves on a daily basis at the training ground. You see these guys are just a group of friends, family. That is what is most important in this club. He continued, we are making a strong group. We are making a team where if things go wrong, they stick together, they push through it. And this is what we have done this season to show that unity is what gave us the title. This is the clearest articulation yet of what separates this Arsenal team from the previous squads that came close but never delivered. This group did not break when things went wrong. They pushed through it together. And Merino, who spent a significant portion of the season on the sidelines recovering from injury, is saying that even in that difficult position, he felt the support of every person around him. Unity is not a cliche in football. Unity wins titles. And Merino is telling us that this Arsenal squad has it in abundance. Morgan Rogers transfer rumour. Now, I want to be absolutely clear before I discuss this next story. This is a rumour. This is not confirmed. This has not been completed. It is reported speculation. It has been claimed that Arsenal are ready to step up their interest in Aston Villa star Morgan Rogers. It is reported that Mikel Arteta is personally leading the drive to try and bring Rogers to the club. Preliminary conversations with Rogers' representatives are believed to have already taken place. Again, I want to stress, this is a rumour at this stage. Nothing has been agreed. Nothing has been signed. My analysis of the rumour is reported. If this is true, it tells us something important about Arsenal's direction in the transfer market. The fact that Arteta is reportedly leading the pursuit personally suggests this is a player the manager specifically wants for a specific role. Rogers is young, dynamic, and has shown quality in the Premier League with Aston Villa. Adding that kind of profile, a player who can contribute in multiple attacking positions, would fit the pattern of how Arteta builds his squads. But I will say this clearly. Until there is a confirmed agreement, this remains speculation. Arsenal supporters should be aware of the interest but should not treat this as a done deal. The summer transfer window brings many rumours. Not all of them materialise. Leandro Trossard on his Arsenal future. Leandro Trossard gave a very clear signal about his intentions regarding his future at the club. He said at the moment, yes. He was responding to a question about whether he would remain at Arsenal. He added, I still have 1 year on my contract, and hopefully first we win the Champions League. Then I think next season can be another very nice season. Trossard also revealed what convinced him to stay at the club after coming close to leaving for Turkey last summer. He said, in the summer, I had a very good conversation with the coach. He also helped me in those negotiations and showed me that he really saw me as an important piece. He continued, I asked him honest questions and he was very honest in his answers to me. I am someone who, if you give me confidence, can give more. If you show me that I can be an important player for you, then I can give more. I feel that on the pitch. On the question of increased competition in attack next season, Trossard said, competition is always there. I'm not afraid of that. They can bring in whoever they want. I know that I can hold my own. My full analysis of the Trossard situation. This is a story about trust, communication, and what happens when a manager believes in a player even when others are ready to let him go. Trossard nearly left Arsenal last summer. A move to Turkey was heavily discussed. He was not certain of his future, but Arteta sat down with him and was honest. He told Trossard he was an important piece of the plan, and Trossard responded to that trust in the most powerful way possible. He scored the winning goal in the 1-0 victory away at West Ham that effectively secured the Premier League title for Arsenal. That goal, from a player who nearly left the club in the most important moment of the season, is one of the defining images of Arsenal's title-winning campaign. Trossard's comment about not being afraid of competition is also significant. He is aware that Arsenal will bring in new players in the summer. He is not asking for guarantees. He is simply saying, I know what I can do, give me the opportunity and I will deliver. That is the mentality of a winner. And his comment about hoping to win the Champions League first, before talking about next season, shows exactly where his focus is. He is not looking at contract extensions or summer business. He is locked in on Budapest, on the 30th of May, on Paris Saint Germain, and on winning the most prestigious trophy in club football. That is the right mentality. That is the Arsenal mentality right now. And it runs through every single player in that squad. Let me bring everything together for you now. Arsenal are 4 days away from the Champions League final. They are Premier League champions. Their players are speaking with confidence, unity and clarity. Their captain Declan Rice is locked in mentally and physically. Their midfielder Mikel Merino has battled back from injury and is ready to contribute. Their manager Mikel Arteta has been called a champion manager by Gary Neville and a transformative figure by Roy Keane. Their defender William Saliba will face his childhood friend Kylian Mbappe in the final. Internally, the club faces tactical decisions. Who starts in midfield, Zubimendi or Lewis-Skelly? What is the status of Kai Havertz and is he available? How does Arteta set up against a Paris Saint Germain team that will be dangerous and determined? Off the pitch, the ownership is already planning for the summer. Josh Kroenke has confirmed that improvements are being targeted. Morgan Rogers has been linked in what remains only a rumour. Gabriel Jesus faces an uncertain contractual situation. Leandro Trossard has signalled he intends to stay. Carlos Cuesta, now departed, still believes the best is yet to come for this club. And through all of it, through every press conference, every Instagram comment, every tweet, every quote, the message from this Arsenal squad is the same. They are together. They are confident. They are ready. The 30th of May 2026 in Budapest. Paris Saint Germain versus Arsenal. The Champions League final. This Arsenal squad has already made history. They have won the Premier League for the first time in over 20 years. They have carried a generation of supporters through some of the most painful near misses in recent football history and delivered the ultimate reward. Now they stand on the edge of something even greater. And every single piece of evidence from this week tells me this team is ready for the moment. I am Melissa. This has been Melissa, Arsenal Analyst. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. If you found this analysis valuable, please subscribe to the channel right now and hit the notification bell. Share this video with any Arsenal supporter who needs to understand the full picture heading into Budapest. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Zubimendi or Lewis-Skelly should start? Who do you think will be the difference maker in the final? I will see you in the next video. Come on, Arsenal.